Hello, good morning. Anybody wants to jump in and say hello this morning? We're waiting on our guest, Lisa, who confirmed to be here this morning. So I'm waiting on her to jump on. She may be running a little bit late. Hi, Lisa, how are you? Carol, good morning, how are you? Hi, Dee. How are you this morning? Demetria, good morning. Orline Miles, good morning. I'm gonna try to see if I can get this closer so I'm not leaning over so much to say hi to y'all. We're waiting on Lisa, who confirmed that she would be here this morning. As y'all know, I'm constantly pulling like 3 or 4 names, and usually only one will show up, sometimes 2. I'm so glad y'all are doing well. It's good to see y'all. Nashil, good morning. Good morning, Judy. How are you? I'm sure you're going to be leaving us to go have breakfast with your husband a little later. Dream Girl Spirituality, good morning. Oh, thank you. Good morning to you, beautiful. Nashil, I'm not sure what you typed in that after that. Chantel, good morning. Guys, we may be doing a solo roundtable this morning. Except that I actually thought about, like, Dee, would you be interested in jumping on with me if Lisa doesn't show up? You're one of the regulars here, and I feel like you probably would have a lot to share with us. So if you would feel like jumping on for this morning's roundtable, let me know, and I'll see if I can send you a link while we're talking. If I don't think I have your email address though. Oh, good, Judy, you're going to be with us all morning. That's exciting. Amanda, good morning. It's good to see you. Anyway, so if Kenneth, greetings from York, England. Have a good day and happy one. I pray peace to you and your family and friends. Thank you, Kenneth. It's nice to see you. Not Nandini, good morning. Joy, good morning. It's good to see y'all. Tanya, it's good to see you. Good morning. India, oh, awesome. Nashil, you're from India. Good morning. Okay, so yay. Judy, yes, yay. Magdalena, good morning. It's good to see you, or good afternoon there in England. Hi, Irene. Good morning. You had been pulled. I think your name had been pulled last week to do roundtable, Irene, and we missed you. I think we're going to put you back in the drawing for later. You had something else going on, but it's good to see you here this morning. And again, I'm going to say, well, I had one confirmation that she would be here this morning, Lisa, and I'm sure something came up and she's not able to make it. And more, sorry. Okay, that's okay, Dee, no problem. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to tell y'all, I kind of, for some reason yesterday, all day long, I kept having this feeling that I was going to be doing roundtable by myself this morning. And I also kept feeling like Spirit knows best, obviously, always. And I have some really great news that I'm so excited about. If any of you have been following me for, no, Irene, please don't be sorry, Irene, it's okay. If any of you have been following this channel for any amount of time, on New Year's Eve, I did my first live, I think it was. And I shared with y'all that my car has been in Houston, Texas since April. It's almost a year. It's 11 months now to get a new engine. And it's been a heck of a journey, but I am excited to say that I sent it. I had it picked up from one shop and brought to another shop. And I'm excited to say that the news is my car is ready. So when I get off of Roundtable this morning, I'm going to Houston to get my car. So I'm really, really excited about that. I just can't even tell you how excited I am. It feels like I'll be getting my life back to some extent. I'm so glad, Magdalena, you loved your last reading. 4444 Copper Top. Good morning. Lisa Richardson, good morning. Good to see y'all. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull an energy card, a theme message for our group this morning. And again, if Lisa pops in, then we'll be able to visit with her. And if not, we'll pull an energy card for the group. And then we'll do questions and answers based on any question that would benefit the entire group. We're not going to do individual questions like, is my love life going to get better or anything like that. If you have a question, let it be something that benefits the group, and we'll talk about that, and we'll take it from there and go from there. Can I talk about numbers in dreams? Yes. Demetria, you live in Houston. That's awesome. Yeah, Carol, I'm so excited. Good morning, Lisa. It's good to see you. Dahlia, good morning. Sharon, hi. It's good to see you. Good afternoon to you. Okay, Magdalena, I'm looking forward to that. Octavia, good morning. It's good to see you. Okay, God, guides, angels, archangels, Holy Spirit, thank you so much for this beautiful group that shows up to visit and connect in these live chats. I ask you to show us clearly, what is your overall theme for this collective that shows up to find out what's going on with you. We thank you for clear and concise messages. We thank you for love, light, and prosperity. And we thank you for clarification, confirmation, and validation. I will get to the numbers in the dreams in a minute. Just give me just a second. Let's see. Oh, guys, it's come together. I love that. So, okay. So a lot of people talk about us getting together with our tribe, you know, getting with like-minded people and stuff like that. And sometimes a card like this can mean exactly that whenever we come together. I have a little bit of an issue, and it's my issue with the word tribe, only because it kind of sets people in different categories, right? And I feel like in some ways that is not necessarily beneficial to us. But the truth of the matter is, we really do grow and prosper even in our spirit as we allow ourselves to be aligned with like-minded people. So that is true. But it's also true that we grow and prosper in our spirit when we are aligned with people who aren't necessarily like-minded. Some people can teach us things about our shadow self, because there's that mirror effect, that what you see in somebody else is sometimes, especially if it's negative, is sometimes something that we ourselves need to work on. And whenever we are with somebody who's a little more spiritually forward than we are, it gives us courage to keep moving forward and finding what else there is out there to know in the universe. So the word tribe is a little bit constrictive to me, but I understand the whole purpose of it. But anyway, so our card to get today is coming together. And look, there's my favorite number. It's the 8. You turn it that way, it's the infinity symbol, right? What I love about this card is, like, look, they're kissing, and it's heart, heart, heart. It's all about the heart. It really is. When we lead with the heart, I think that we are more, we're able to be more compassionate, not only with ourselves, but with each other. Okay. So let's see. Tinkerbell, good morning. Was just wondering what my purpose is. Thank you. Okay, so again, I'm going to say I am not addressing individual questions. We'll only be talking about questions that really can benefit the collective. The coronavirus, I will talk about that. Good morning, all. Mary, it's good to see you. Tanya, you're a sweet soul. Thank you. And Emmy, good morning. It's nice to see you here. Okay, so let's read this. Coming together. Love needs to be shared. Y'all, it's so true. Love needs to be expressed. Drawing the come together card is a sign that you're on the path to discover the nature of this emotion in all of its forms of expression: romantic, familial, unconditional, and spiritual. In each instance, there's another being involved. Love involves a give and take between you and a significant other, a relative, a friend, an animal, and or spirit. This card assures you that love has come calling and seeks a partner in its dance. Know that you are cherished. Like a magnet, you're attracting love into your life. This is the time for harmonious, caring partnerships. I love that. Okay, so again, I feel like the people who, especially in these lives and in our daily mail, our deep dives and all that stuff that we do outside of reading tarot, I feel like it's a special group of people that keep coming together to draw from each other more knowledge and more understanding and growth. Okay, so Emmy, good morning. Tinkerbell, it's 11:11. Sandy, good morning. Dream Girl, best ways to protect your energy. Yes, we'll talk about that. Rafaela Vasquez, I don't know if I said that right. You have to have some experience with a tribe to be able to integrate with people at all. Yes, I agree. And that's what I was saying. It's I understand the purpose of the culture of a tribe. But in some ways, I feel like we can allow ourselves to be restricted by it. But yes, I agree. We kind of have to know where we are to be able to know where we're going or where we're coming from. So let's talk about numbers in dreams. I think that when we see numbers in dreams, it's kind of the same thing as seeing a repetitive number, except that because I think in the dream state, it's coming from a deeper level of consciousness. I think it probably is a little more impactful about what the message is, because whenever we're in our awareness, when we're in our monkey minds, so to speak, where we're constantly thinking and stuff like that, and they show us numbers or whatever, we're experiencing it or interpreting it or integrating it in that type of awareness. But when we're in a sleep, when our mind is finally at rest and these numbers start coming into our dreams, I think it's a more impactful meaning. And I feel like it's going to have a little more, more of an impactful meaning, and it's going to have more of a deep impact on our life, on our day-to-day life, if we meditate on it and allow ourselves to move forward from that understanding. So let's talk about best ways to protect our energy and the coronavirus. I'm going to talk about those together. We live in a very fear-based society, a very fear-based culture. If you turn on the news, there's rarely anything good being reported. They're looking at mass shootings. They're looking at civil disruptions. They're looking at illnesses like the coronavirus. They're looking at the stuff that we call politics that seems to be all very negative. It's constant negative integration and feeding. They're feeding us negative stuff. So whenever we come from a place of fear, when we consume all that stuff, just like with the coronavirus, or allowing ourselves to be around people who are truly negative most of the time, we're allowing that energy into us. And the energy of the coronavirus also is a very fearful energy, especially the way it's being portrayed in the news right now. So sometimes I'll be sitting with somebody, and in the middle of a conversation, I will literally mentally put myself in a bubble and zip it up mentally. But literally, I mean, I'm literally doing it, but it's right here. I don't like stand up and zip myself into a bubble, but it's like a message to my guides to please let this bounce back away from me. And then after the situation, I can go back and say, okay, why is this part of my experience? Am I attracting this into my life? That kind of stuff. Or am I looking at something that's deep within me that needs to be addressed? And with the coronavirus, I think if we focus on it and allow the fear of what's going on out there to penetrate our hearts, whether we get the coronavirus or not, we're gonna allow our own immune systems to be depleted, which then makes us susceptible to other things like pneumonia or flu or that kind of stuff. So, you know, we can wash our hands 25,000 times a day and all that stuff, but if we're walking around in fear, our barriers are lower and we're allowing that in. And I'm gonna tell you why I say that. I was certified years ago as a heart math trainer, and whenever we went to these classes to get this certification, what we learned is that and I say this all the time, I repeat that scripture, that guard our heart with all diligence, because out of it are the issues of life. So what we learned in heart math was that whenever our heart and our brain are in coherence, we operate at a higher function. And whenever we allow negative energies to seep into our heart, it depletes our immune system. What happens is we have this, it's like this signal that goes from here to here. And there's like a little pharmacist up here that's releasing chemicals into our body based on the signals coming from the heart. What do you need right now? Well, in the very early times of our existence, we needed the fight or flight stuff, the cortisol, and we still need it sometimes, but not as often. But what that was designed for in our makeup was that if we were in danger, this would release the adrenaline, the cortisol and all that, and it would send it to our extremities, which would allow us to physically get away from the danger. And whenever we are allowing our heart to communicate with our brain and be in coherence in a state of peace and joy and love and compassion, then this signal to our brain is saying everything's okay, we're safe, and it releases those more nurturing chemicals that nurture and support our core being, our organs like our liver, our heart, our lungs, the digestive tract, all that stuff. So then we operate at a higher functioning capability or capacity, and our immune system is stronger. So that's why, and I always go back to that one scripture, guard your heart with all diligence, because out of it are the issues of life. It's where the scripture, and again, I'm a church girl from way back, but it's where the scripture and science kind of meet up together and explain how we were designed to take care of and protect ourselves. So in today's society, if you look at an animal, like if you go out to a safari or something and you watch one animal chase another, when that animal is going to run as fast as it can, but once it's out of danger, it's going to stop and it'll start grazing again, and it just completely forgets that it was in trouble a while ago. But what we tend to do is, and this is the crazy thing, our mind, like if we start thinking about a past hurt or a past infringement on our being or whatever, that plays out in our mind, and we start seeing these little mind movies or whatever, and the chemical reaction in our body is the exact same as if it was happening again right now. So it's like we put ourselves back in that fight or flight place. And whenever that happens, all that energy is going to our extremities, and we're not getting the proper nutrients to our core, this part of us that sustains us. So that's why it's important to meditate and clear our minds and really try to focus on things. It's not about necessarily just positive thinking, because we can do positive thinking and affirmations and still allow ourselves to be tore up on the inside, but it's about coming into harmony with who we are. Okay, let's go back here. Best ways to protect your energy, guys. And y'all know I hate this. I feel like I'm ignoring y'all whenever I'm looking over there, but I'm trying to stay involved in the chat. From Holland with lots of love. Ellis, it's nice to see you. ES, good morning. It's nice to see you. Yeah, stay on. So Tanya has a good advice. Stay, dream girl, stay on praying and meditation ground. Utilize the tools. My last number dream was number 4. So again, whenever I took an intuitive class one time, and you can go to angel numbers, or you can Google angel numbers, and you can Google numerology, and the numbers are going to have just a little slight variation in the meanings. But one of the things when you're an intuitive is, what does that number mean to you? And one of the things you can do is like write the number down on a piece of paper and let it speak to you. 4, the number 4, whenever you see the 4 of wands, you're looking at 4 wands, right? And for me, that's like firm footing. It's about firm footing. There's four pillars for the foundation to be built on. So it's firm footing for me. And the 444 for me is yes. Like it's a big, oh yes, whatever it is that our question was, our inquiry was. Kenneth, you said praying for healing, healthy recovery, soonest maybe lemon, honey, ginger tea will help. Very good. BJ Jasper, good morning. The True Good News. Good morning, Kelly. We really need to get together, dude, so that you can get back on here and visit. D, do you all feel we have been shifted into the age of Aquarius? Well, that's a good question. So everybody in the chat, do you feel we've been shifted into the age of Aquarius? Put yes, Aquarius, or yes, Aqua. So we'll know what you're saying yes about. Tinkerbell, I remember nothing upon awakening from my dreams for a very long time now. I woke yesterday morning very sad and felt the need to cry off and on yesterday and some today. Okay, so let's talk about that. With the energies in the solar system and all that stuff out there in the Milky Way, they do affect us. And sometimes our soul with those energies are cleansing something at a deep level that we're not aware of. So if you're feeling the need to cry on and off, if you have the ability to like allow yourself some time to do that, then I suggest doing that, because sometimes our soul is clearing something at a much deeper level than we understand. So, and it doesn't mean we're sad. It doesn't mean we're depressed. It just means that our soul is doing some work that we might not be aware of. So do it. And I personally, for me, I do that in gratitude, and I do it with a thankful heart that spirit truly does know what I need at this time in my life, and that they're taking care of that. And sometimes tears, they say tears, it's like releasing toxins from the body. Crying, I think, is a very, very healthy thing. If it's someone who has passed giving you numbers, then I feel like it's somebody, Tanya, I feel like if it's somebody who has passed on, that's there giving you numbers, then they may be trying to give you a message. What do those numbers mean to you? Look them up. If you don't have a significant, write them down and try to figure out what it means to you, and allow your intuition to work with you. Meditate on whatever that was, because I'm telling you, it's going to be different for different people. And if you can't connect, then check the angel numbers, and then check the numerology meanings, and then kind of combine them together, or decide which one resonates with you, because it's going to be different for everybody, based on how you interpret things, how you digest things, and all that stuff. They twist the word. Okay, Kenneth, I'm not real sure what you're talking about, but it is true. Belief systems have changed a lot. Yes. Love that. Allowing the energy is us. That's huge. Kenneth, nothing can kill the spirit, brothers and sisters. Kenneth, that is very true. Nothing can kill the spirit. I was listening to Greg Braden and Bruce Lipton earlier this morning while I was getting dressed, and they were having a conversation, and they were talking about spirit and matter. And I'd heard this many years before at one of their conferences, and it was like, oh yeah, I'd love to talk about that again. So I'm glad you brought that up. Nothing can kill the spirit, because spirit is not matter. Spirit is constantly out there. And what Bruce was saying is, it's kind of like our TV, right? There's a broadcast out there. Our TV receives from this broadcast. And if our TV goes out, That's just the TV that went out. The broadcast is still coming in. All we got to do is plug in another TV. So it's kind of the same thing. Nothing can kill the spirit. Now, can something damage our soul, the inner part of us? And there's again, a church girl here, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, don't fear those who can kill the body, but fear those who can, kill or damage the soul. And I feel like it's whenever it's talking about that, it's not about literally killing the soul, but damaging the negative energies that damage us and lower our vibration to the point that we live in fear and doubt and lack and all that other stuff. And for me, that's what that's talking about. But it's true, nothing can kill the spirit. So it's our job, just like it's our job to brush our teeth every day, it's our job to maintain our spiritual hygiene too. And that means, what are we allowing to come into our head? What are we allowing people to say to us or be with us in our energy? We're responsible for that kind of stuff. I turned off, whenever I moved into my house here in 2015, I did not buy a television to move it. I don't have cable in my house. Because I know that this girl right here can really get hung up in some negative energies if I start watching the news. And I've told this story before in one of my videos somewhere along the way. Whenever Hurricane Katrina happened, and then Hurricane Rita, especially during Hurricane Katrina, I would go bring my kids to school and come back and sit on the ottoman and watch the news and just cry and cry and cry and cry. It's like I was debilitated, so much so that even my little common sense brain couldn't say, get up, call a church, see what you can go do to help. No, I allowed myself to be so debilitated, I couldn't even think about anything except what those people that were stuck on the tops of those houses, and those people that were stuck on that bridge with no food and no water, and and waiting and hoping that somebody would come in a boat or in a helicopter to rescue them. And I'm just sitting there and I'm just crying. And so whenever again we allow that fight or flight, all that stuff goes here, that's the energy I was in. My core wasn't working, so my brain wasn't thinking clearly. I didn't even think to make a phone call to a church. I did eventually later, and I did allow somebody to come stay, a refugee or whatever you want to, a Hurricane Katrina survivor, to come and stay at my house for a little while. But I'm telling you, for those first days, I just was in a completely debilitated state, because that's what happens whenever we allow those. And it's not that it was really something that was happening, but I was not. It was a terrible thing that was happening, and it was being reported. But instead of me saying, okay, and keeping myself spiritually in a good spiritually hygiene place, I allowed myself to be consumed with it, and then I couldn't help. I did eventually, but in the beginning I couldn't. All I could do was focus on what was going on out there. Okay, so I struggle with this. Wow, I love that. I struggle with it. Our heart knows only love. It's our mind that knows fear, which is a survival instinct. Fear is not real. It's our mind keeping us extra protective. It's true, but it can actually, it does seep into our heart and it paralyzes us. That's my beliefs. I'm not arguing with anybody, Maduri. That's just the way that I think happens. Hi, Cindy from California. It's good to see you. Ellis, it's nice to be here. I love the way. Oh, thank you so much, Ellis. Well, good morning, Tina. It's good to see you. Mandra, in the Bible, it says something about don't listen to psychics and people of that nature, but I do. Okay, so let's talk about that. And this is where I would love to have Kelly on to talk about that too, because he digs so deep. But here's my interpretation of all that. It says that's all in the Old Testament, first of all. So, and and everybody interprets things differently, but that's all in the Old Testament. So in the New Testament, where you're watching the life of Jesus, the man, which is what drew me to Christianity, which I no longer call myself a Christian, only because I don't believe that Jesus is the only way to God. I do love God dearly, and I do love Jesus dearly, but I believe that it's the Christ mind inside the man of Jesus that we're attracted to, or that we should strive to be like. But Buddha also had the Christ mind, and stuff like that. So anyway, but so to address your question, in the Bible, it says don't listen to psychics and stuff like that. But you go into the New Testament and you watch Jesus's life, Jesus, the man, where it was the Christ in him that addressed the lady at the well, the Samaritan woman at the well, that he shouldn't have even been talking to, because she was there drawing water, but she didn't have a husband with her. And in that culture, men and women weren't supposed to communicate like that. It was illegal, but he went and asked her for water, and she said, "Why are you asking me for water?" But they started having a conversation, and he ends up saying, because she says, "Because you shouldn't be talking to me, because I'm not married," or whatever. And he says, "No, you're not." He says, "In fact, you've been married 5 times, and the one you're with right now isn't even your husband." So that was that psychic energy, that Christ-minded energy in him, picking up on her energy, and he could see her life, and he spoke it into her. So whenever we talk about psychics, that's what we're talking about. And we all have that psychic energy. We can all tap into that Christ consciousness to be able to understand energy and speak to people from a different place. And then the mediums, Jesus, the man, went up to the top of the mountain to pray, and there was this transfiguration that took place, and his disciples, who he left halfway down the mountain, looked up and saw him talking to Moses, who had been dead way back in the Old Testament, right? And Elijah. And everybody says, well, Elijah didn't die, he was taken up in a cloud. Okay, but Moses did. Moses was buried at Mount Moab. So there's Jesus being a psychic and being a medium. And then I have another video on my channel that says Jesus was an energy healer. Jesus understood the ability to heal just by transferring energy, just by looking at somebody as whole and healed. He could see them healed, and then they were in fact healed. And then this one guy, a centurion, came to him and said, I have a guy back there that needs a healing. And Jesus said, well, let's go. And the guy says, no. He says, I'm a man under authority. I know all you have to do is say the word and it'll be done. And so Jesus said, no, nobody else that I know has that kind of faith. And there you are, a centurion. So if we step out of what religion teaches us and truly study the life that this man, Jesus, lived, and how Jesus's last name is not Christ, but Christ is the anointed energy that took place whenever Source first said, let there be light. That light, to me, this is just me, take it if you want, adopt it if you want, or dig further, or listen to more lectures. But when let there be light, that light is that Christ consciousness, and it's in each and every one of us. We all are psychics, mediums. We all have all the same abilities that we go out and look for in others. Okay. I hope that was beneficial. Okay, so yes, Aqua, good. So we think we're in the Aquas. I'm Aries and follow Zodiac and meditation and everything. I think that's great. I think that whatever we, excuse me, whatever it is that we resonate with is what's speaking to our soul at that time. And as long as we're looking from a place of love to move into deeper love, in my mind, that's what that's what it's all about. And there's a scripture in the Bible, again, I go back to the Bible, that says, learn what this means. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. Whenever we're dealing with each other, where's our mercy, right? And why is mercy more important than sacrifice? Sacrifice was a thing in the Old Testament. Sacrifice was part of the culture when they were saying, don't talk to mediums, when they were saying, stone the adulteress, when they were saying, stone your kids if they're rebellious, whenever they were saying all those things, you know, way back in the Old Testament, that's where sacrifice was. But in the New Testament, this new way of living, I often say, you know, people have told me for many years, even as I was in the church, when I would express the way I understood things, they would say, oh, you sound so new age. And it used to intimidate me. And so I would back up and shut up, because I didn't want to be outside of God's will, right? But then what happened was, as time went on, and I kept studying Jesus, and I could no longer reconcile Jesus's life with the way that I was being taught about Christianity. I could never reconcile the love of God with the way he was portrayed in the Bible. I finally just said, okay, God, tell me what to do. I have kids. I need to show them the right way. That was back in 2008. And so my journey started before 2008, but in 2008 is when I divorced myself from the church and really started getting deeper and deeper into letting Spirit lead me versus the other. But I forgot what I was saying and why I was saying that. Okay, so hey, TA, it's good to see you. You know, I've been watching for you, TA. I was thinking, oh gosh, I hope I didn't offend TA, because I value your contributions in our group. So I'm glad you're here. I have been emotional too lately. Irene, again, I think it, you know, and listen, okay, so y'all, we're in retrograde, right? And again, I'm going to tell you, I don't believe that any of these energies can actually control our lives, but I do believe they can influence our lives. And if we are aware that that's what's going on, then we can navigate those energies more successfully. We can walk our way through them quicker, get to the other side quicker. So let's talk about feeling emotional. We're in retrograde right now, and this retrograde is taking place in the sign of Pisces. What is Pisces about? Pisces is a water sign. It's deep emotional stuff, right? So these emotional feelings, some of them, if you pay attention to them and meditate on them, you'll probably find that they're old emotions coming up. And so I really feel this is Spirit's way of saying, here's some more stuff for you to work on. Here's some more stuff for you to release, that kind of stuff. So this retrograde is going to be particularly emotional because it is happening in the sign of Pisces, which is a very emotional sign. I think there are many levels and layers that are shifting, and it's a process, perhaps a process that has no limits, always growing and always expanding. Cindy Ward, you've said a mouthful. I agree with you. And that's why, guys, that's why it's so important. If somebody is out there telling you this is how it's supposed to be, they're very limiting. And I'm talking about if it's a teacher, a coach, a guru, any kind of person who sets himself as a guru, any type of person who wants to take authority and tell you this is the way it's supposed to happen. No, there are 7.8 billion people on this planet, guys. Not one of us have the same thumbprint. So that's got to tell you that this intelligence, this infinite intelligence that created the multiverse and created each one of us, did not come up with a cookie cutter way for any one thing to be done. There's not a cookie cutter way. So there are some truths and some principles, but there are many ways within those truths and principles. So whenever somebody tells you this is the only way you're going to get to the Father, look at your thumbprint and remember, the Father didn't create any of us with a cookie cutter stamp. Whenever Spirit speaks to me, sometimes it's a little picture up here. Sometimes it's a little voice of knowing right here. Sometimes it's a song. Sometimes it's a kid saying something, and I'm like, wow. So if we're open to allowing spirit to meet us where we are, we don't have to go find spirit. I'm telling you guys, that's my opinion. We don't have to go looking for spirit. Spirit lives within us. Spirit lives within us, and whenever we're willing to open our heart and invite spirit to work with us, to teach us, to talk to us, that's going to happen. I'm not going to say necessarily very easily, because our mind sometimes can cause static in that broadcast that's trying to come in, our thoughts, right? But when we can clear our thoughts and clear our mind and just truly present ourselves open to hear whatever spirit has to teach us, you're going to find it happens more easily, more harmoniously in everything that you do. BJ Jasper, hi, it's good to see you. That is why I get up in the morning and watch sunrise and try to get my crying out then. Let me tell you, I know, right? It's so easy to get caught up in something like that and allow yourself to just, it's so humbling. I was doing a meditation a little earlier this morning, and just the tears were just rolling out, y'all. It's like, it's so humbling, and it's so cleansing to the soul. Let's see, time for time for a little tear. Janice, I think that's great. Tears are so good. I want to learn my angel numbers and everything, but I don't know how. Okay, so we're going to go back to that. Angel numbers. Get online and Google angel numbers. There's all kinds of information about it. But also Google the numbers for numerology, because there's going to be a slight difference, because numerology is more of a scientific foundation, and angel numbers are more of a spiritual foundation, but the two truly do merge together to benefit us. So, and the other thing I said was write the number down, take each number one at a time, write it down, and let it speak to you. Let it tell you what it's here to say to you. Because just in the number itself, like the number 2, right? It's got a straight foundation, but it's got this curve up at the bottom, and then it slants this way, and then it goes like that. So this curve up at the bottom for me is resilience, because like it's like a spring. It can go down, but it comes back up. It's resilient, and it's very graceful. It's kind of like a swan, right? And then the other thing is it's quite a bit more creative looking than the 1, because the 1's just like this, but the 2 has this flow to it. So that's kind of creative. So you're looking at like a divine feminine, creative and resilient with a strong foundation. That's how the 2 speaks to me. But what does it speak to you? You know, if you write the number out and let it talk to you, let the way that the lines move in it speak to you. Okay, so Tinkerbell, now today I awoke with a sore throat and runny nose, feeling horrible. Okay, so here's another thing too. And I know I'm getting caught up in all these like one at a time, so y'all bear with me. I only have about 15 more minutes though. So, but Tinkerbell, as far as that goes, sometimes Google, this is just, again, another resource for you. Google emotional cause of symptoms, Louise Hay, because there's a book out that's called You Can Heal Your Life. And there are symptoms. Her theory is that symptoms that we have are related to some type of emotional cause. So I was reading the other day or heard the other day that leaky nose or sinuses usually occurs when we're irritated with somebody close to us. But whenever you have that information, again, you can go into meditation and check yourself and say, where do I need to clear this? And show me how to clear it, because spirit will also give you the resources on how to clear it. And if you feel not connected enough to get those resources, then go to like chakra boosters on YouTube or Google how to clear this. And you know, there's so much information out there on the internet. Be discerning, because there's some goofy information too, but and there's some there is some of that, and this is one of my passions, y'all. There's some of that hierarchy stuff where people think they have all the answers and you have to do it their way, and you have to cut 28,000 cartwheels and 8,000 back bends and hold your breath for 30 minutes before you can reach spirit. Things like that. I'm here to tell you, my experience says that's not true. So be open to allowing spirit to work with you and come meet you where you are. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Okay. Create in me a pure heart, oh God. I love that, Kenneth. Yes. Create in me a pure heart, oh God. Pickens, hello from Columbus, Ohio. Hi, Janine Lawson. I don't watch the news anymore either. Yeah, it's just too much. Nice to meet you. That from Georgia. My dad and grandparents are down south. Okay, so y'all are talking in there. Irene, Cheryl, I did the same thing. It was like I could feel them. Yes. So glad I catch you. Good morning, Marlene. It's good to see you. Abdul, good to see you. I refuse to watch the news. News can lower you. Absolutely. And that's what I was saying earlier. News can definitely, anything that's fear-based can lower our vibration, because what happens is that negative energy penetrates our heart, and our little pharmacist up here in our brain is releasing the chemicals necessary to get us out of trouble, instead of the chemicals necessary to continue to nurture our core. And so when we nurture our core, our vibrations do stay higher when we can stay in a place of gratitude and love and joy, and compassion. Compassion is very important. Texas here. Hi, Misty from Texas. It's good to see you. Recall the Witch of Endor, people of the covenant, Britain, the land of the covenant. I guess you're just making a comment. Guys, I'm going to start looking for question marks, because we're about 10 minutes out from the top of the hour. And at that time, I'm going to need to jump off of here so I can go get my car. I'm so excited about that. So start putting question marks maybe before and after. Fatima, it's good to see you. Angels and spirits, how do they differ? This is just my opinion. Again, I am not an expert or a guru. And I don't necessarily, I can only speak to my experience. Angels and spirit guides, I think, are the same thing. It's just different terminology. It's like we're all speaking about the same thing with different language. It's like my dad grew up speaking French. I grew up speaking English. So it's just two different understandings or perceptions, but I believe it's the same thing. There's only one spirit, right? There's only one true spirit, and that is the supreme divinity, the original cause of everything. And from that original cause, we were all created. And again, just like I was talking about earlier, Bruce Lipton was saying, and spirit, right? It's a broadcast. It's this energy out here. The angels too, it's an energy out here. And we all have different, like we could be listening to channel 7, or we could be listening to channel 10. Both broadcasts, it's the same kind of broadcast, just different messages coming in, right? So if we stay attuned, if we keep our vibrations higher, and that's a term that I've never been really comfortable with, keep my vibrations higher. I feel like keep my spirit nourished, right? If we keep ourselves nourished and our vibrations higher, then the messages that we attract in or that reach us are the messages that are tuned into those vibrations. But when our vibrations are lower, then we draw in those lower vibrating energies or spirits or whatever. Again, it's all a broadcast, and all we have to do is change our channel to be able to tap into a different broadcast. Okay, great way to describe that. My daughter has fear of me learning the trait. However, I'm Okay, I'm not sure what that is. Okay, guys, remember, I'm looking for Jesus is an ascended master. I believe that, Rafaela. Absolutely, I believe that. Okay, Kenneth Enoch, hello from Ecuador. Hi, Phyllis from Ecuador. Yes, Jesus was practicing a very powerful law of attraction. He was demonstrating that. He was demonstrating that that's how we can live our lives. That's what he was. Guys, I don't believe Jesus came here to crawl up on that cross and pay for our sins. That's where I differ from Christianity. I absolutely love Jesus, the man that taught us, that walked out this law of attraction stuff in the earth, with the Christ mind, right? With the Christ spirit within him. He had that activated within him so that he could understand and teach us how to do that same thing. He said, all these things that I do, you can do these same things and more than this you're going to be able to do. That's another thing that I thought a long time ago. I remember sitting there thinking, they made computers, they made cell phones. First they had landlines, then they had bag phones, then they had cell phones. They had, after the landlines, they had the landlines with the wireless phone, all that stuff. But anyway, I kept thinking, but truly, I think it just imitates what we could do ourselves with each other. I think that we could truly communicate with each other if we knew how to tap into that same broadcast, because those phones aren't connected by a wire from here to there, right? There's a broadcast that it's connected into, and I don't think we necessarily need the phones to be able to connect. I think we have a long ways to go to truly understand that in ourselves, but I think that there's going to come a day when we're going to connect with each other without needing a phone. We do it already. You'll be thinking of somebody, and then the next thing you know, they're calling you, right? So we really do it already. And practicing love and no fear is the key. Nathan under the fig tree. Yes. Okay, so if anything's bringing me closer, if others can understand that. If anything, tarot is bringing me closer. Yes, I agree with that, Tinkerbell. Tarot, and again, and it could be for you, it's tarot, for somebody else, it's a church. No matter what it is you're doing, as long as it's drawing you to the creator, right? However, whatever that road is for you, for some people it is church, for some people it is tarot, for some people it is meditation or yoga or stuff like that. But whatever it is that brings you closer to your original source, that's what you want to continue to walk into, and from a place of love. From a place of love, not from a place of hierarchy. Not that somebody's telling you you're not doing it right, because they don't have your thumbprint. They don't know what right is for you, but spirit does. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm looking for question marks. I keep saying that and then I get stopped. I'm just going to pass up all these things unless they have question marks, but I love y'all so much. Hi, I am dying, even radio frequencies. Yes, that's what I was talking about, radio frequencies and TV frequencies, all that stuff. You're right. Fear is an illusion. Raphael, I'm glad that tarot does help you. Okay, we are 5 minutes out, and I'm not seeing. Okay, here's the question. What's the third eye? Again, I'm going to say I am no guru, but I think it has something to do with this area right here. And I think that it's not that you literally see from here, but I think that you see things like, have you ever heard somebody say, in my mind's eye? Again, I'm not a guru. I'm just talking about my understanding. I have seen things. Spirit has showed me pictures of things, and it's not something that I see with these eyes, but it's something that's very real happening, like right here sometimes, or on this side. So that's just my answer. Again, I can only talk about my experience. I don't know what the gurus say about the third eye, but there are definitely chakra meditations, if you want to open your third eye, stuff like that. There's chakra, or unblock the energies in your third eye. You can do that too. The chakra boosters she's got a whole lot of free information. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and start saying, came out in a different way. Sorry, Cheryl, it came out. I'm not sure what you were talking about. You can heal your life. Yes, you can heal your life by, it's an excellent tool, Hand. It really is. I love it. Okay, so I'm not, okay. How do you keep your third eye and crown covered? I'm not really sure I would want to keep it covered. I mean, I don't know why you would want to cover it, but meditate and ask your spirit guides, ask your angels to help you understand what is the best way for you to operate with that third eye. I mean, I am not the person who's going to sit here and say, this is what you do, this, and this, because for everybody it's different. I truly believe that. And for me, I would not ask, how do I cover it? If you're asking how to protect yourself from negative energies coming in that way, I'll say this. I have been in situations where in the middle of the situation, I mentally go in and zip myself into a bubble so that those negative energies just kind of bounce off from me. And then later I will ask in meditation, Spirit, show me, why did this show up in my experience? Is there something that I'm not seeing within myself? Guys, I love y'all so much. Let me give y'all a PS, since we didn't have a person on this broadcast with us. I'm gonna go ahead and do a PS, and then that's gonna be it. I'm gonna run to Houston and pick up my car that I haven't seen in almost a year. Okay, God, guides, angels, archangels, Holy Spirit, I thank you so much for this beautiful group that hangs out with us in the Spirit Mail community. Show us clearly, what is your PS for them today, based on all the different conversations we've had this morning. We thank you for clear and concise messages. We thank you for love, light, and prosperity. And we thank you for clarification, confirmation, and validation. What is the PS, please? Now, remember, our overall theme was coming together. And I feel like that's what we've been doing this morning, coming together. I'm really excited about that. That's your coming together card, your overall theme. And look, Spirit dropped out like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. So the first one is balance. Guys, again, this is kind of like what I was saying earlier. In all things, find balance. Remember, like I was saying, if somebody is trying to tell you this is the only way, I would really retreat and meditate on that and ask Spirit to show you, is this truly the only way? Because the universe is a universe of balance, right? There's the Strength card. Spirit lives inside of you. You have an amount or an abundance of strength within you, spiritual strength, physical strength, you know, and I'm really talking about physical strength too, you know. Excuse me, especially whenever those chemicals are being released. You know, you've heard the stories about the moms lifting the car off of the kid, right? Whenever we truly need something, Spirit's going to give it to us in the amount that we need it. This strength is there for us to tap into. We're all high priestesses, y'all. And listen, don't let anybody, including me, and I'm including me in whenever I say this, don't let anybody ever make you feel like you're not as gifted as they are, because we're all born with that innate light, that Christ light within us. All we have to do is activate it. Don't let anybody tell you that they're gifted and you're not. Ask Spirit to help you develop those gifts within yourself, because we all have them. Please know this, we all have them. Don't give your power away to somebody else. Guys, the times are changing, right? We are walking into the age of Aquarius. I think we already have walked into the age of Aquarius. This is the time, right? The time to make the changes in your life that truly benefit you, to leave behind those things that no longer serve you, the limiting beliefs, the lack, the fear, the doubt. Y'all, this is the time. This is the Wheel of Fortune. It shows up whenever things are on the top side of the wheel. And it's all about us deciding, right? We decide. We decide. I was saying something the other day about that, coming out of the church. I used to think for a long, long time that I had to, well, for a long time, you thought, you get punished if you don't do something right. Well, so I kind of got God off of that cloud. I realized God's not a man with a wand waiting to curse and punish. But the other day, I got rid of that a long time ago. But the other day, I was like kind of meditating, praying, and saying, God, when are we gonna walk this into my life, or or whatever? And it was like Spirit said, we're waiting on you. So, and then the other day I was listening to, I was actually watching a friend of mine that has a Facebook page, and what he said is, basically, people used to say God's waiting on you, and he says, and I don't even believe that anymore. And so I started thinking, okay, so what do I believe about that? But what I think is, there's not a God waiting on us, but until we start moving, the energy's not going to move. It's like whenever you go to a well, a water well, those old-timey water wells, you can't just look at the well and say, come on, water. You got to prime that pump, right? You got to push that little thing up and down, and prime that pump. So until we take action, that nothing's going to happen. So we got to prime that pump, and once that water starts coming, we have to keep pumping for the water to keep coming, right? So it's like, whenever I say God was waiting on me, I mean, the energies are going to be stagnant until I start moving, then they're going to flow with me. So we get to make a choice. It's our choice. We are way more powerful than we were ever led to believe or allowed to know that we are. And guys, there's so much information out there, but it's your choice. Everything is your choice. If you're comfortable where you are, then you stay where you are and live in joy and peace. But if you're uncomfortable, if you're feeling like there's something more, allow yourself to go find what that something more is. Guys, we are so powerful, way more powerful than we ever thought we were. And I cannot wait to see what comes in the next 5-10 years, as far as our ability to move energy for ourselves. Guys, I love y'all so very much. Thank you for being a part of the Spirit Mail community, and I look forward to seeing y'all again next time. And until then, go out and have a super duper day. Bye.